I'm Jared Haynes, and this is Rogue Outdoors. Today I'm talking to you about food packing for hunting. The method that I use works for both car camping and backpack hunting. So what we're going to do is I use a 1 gallon Ziploc bag, and I label it here with each day. So day 1, 2, 3, however many days you're going to be out. And then I'll have a bunch of small Ziploc bags that I can throw individual items, peanuts, chips into. And it's all going to be confined in this one bag for each day. Now this is going to be the food that gets me from after breakfast until dinner. Dinners and breakfast are separate. So I'll either use Mountain House meals for breakfast and dinner if I'm backpacking in, because that way I can burn up the garbage. I don't obviously have to have a fridge with me. But if I'm car camping, then I'll use actual foods, eggs and bacon that I bring with me in a cooler. And for dinners, actual meats, potatoes, green vegetables, those kind of things. I got this idea originally from watching a video off of Kuyu's website from Jason Harristing. He actually has 2 of them, and I'm going to link them down below. And in that video, this is how he talked about doing food prepping. Before this, I had just a random assortment of stuff. I never knew what I was going to eat each day. And it became kind of a pain in the butt because I was packing each individual's day's food while I was out there getting ready for a hunt, which didn't enable me to really backpack for more than a day or two, and it became kind of a struggle. This way, if you're really into calorie counting, which I'm not, I've experimented around and I know that the food assortment that I use gives me enough energy, enough calories to keep me going. Over about 6-7 day hunt if I'm just eating off this stuff, but it does allow for you to easily do that. You can also differentiate foods. So if I'm having Nutella and bacon and cheese little wraps a couple days, and then I'm going to do bagel and cheese and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or just different things, I can put those individual meals into different days ahead of time and plan out how to separate my food, have different tastes in there so that the same thing doesn't get bland over the course of 5-6 days. Here's some of the things I've found work best for me. So I'll start over here, and it's going to be Nature Valley biscuits. Now they make different flavors. These have a really high calorie count for their weight. I don't weigh everything out to make sure that I'm at some specific level, but I am somewhat conscious of wanting things that have a high calorie count to weight ratio. I prefer the coconut because it adds just a totally different flavor from anything else that's up here, and so it doesn't get very bland. I have 2 different bases for sandwiches that I usually use. I'll either do some sort of a bagel, and then I have like the little tortilla shells. Those could be corn or wheat. It doesn't matter. It just depends on your preference. In the tortilla shells, usually what I'll do is some Nutella, some bacon that I've already cooked up going into the hunt, and then I'll put a slice of cheese on there, wrap that up, and I'll do like 3 or 4 of those for a day. Or I'll do a sandwich with some cheese and different things in there, maybe some bacon, or I'll do a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It just depends on the day. Those things stay in my cooler until I head up, or depending on the time of the year, if I'm in November in Montana or something, I'm gonna have the weather's gonna be so cold. If I'm backpacking in, those things will stay. The cheese and bacon that's already been cooked, those will stay cold enough at camp that I don't have to worry about it. Then we're going to move into jerky. I prefer the Costco brand jerky. I use about 1 ounce of that. I take a little baggie, pitch it in there. That stuff lasts for quite a while. I have Fritos. I like the salt that's in the Fritos. It gives you, that nice salty taste. It replenishes when you're sweating out a bunch of salts and stuff. So I do a little bag of those. Again, I just take this normal size sandwich bag, and I'll fill it about halfway up with Fritos for each day. I don't put them in these bigger bags because it's easier for me to pick the right amount. This is obviously more than I would have, and so I can put the exact amount that I like, and I know I'm not going to be wasting food. I usually do 2 Reese's peanut butter cups, and then a Snickers bar. Sometimes I throw in there one of these Almond Joys. I do honey roasted peanuts, or I'll do almonds sometime, but I've kind of been switching into the peanuts because I just like the way that tastes better to me. This is the one thing that is, you can't burn this afterwards. I do the Bumblebee tuna packs. This adds a little bit more weight than if you were to go with just like the Star Kiss little package, but I like the flavor of this a lot. And it does have a metal can in there, so you can't burn that, but you know, if I'm out for 6 days and I have those little tiny cans, it's not that big of a deal. Leave them back at camp, and then when you're ready to go, throw them in your pack. It doesn't really add that much. You carried them in there in the first place. Peanut butter, if I'm not having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, then I'll have at least one of these, usually only one, in my bag, and I'll just eat a little bit of peanut butter. I like the texture. Moving over into where normally you would have like a Cliff Bar or a Luna Bar or something like that. I actually use Sunbelt Bakery. These are super cheap. They're like $1.50 for 10 of them. They have 2 different flavors. They've got this peanut butter one, and then they have the chocolate one. They obviously don't have all the extra proteins and some of the things that like a Cliff Bar would have, but they're way cheaper. I don't really like the flavor of Cliff Bars. I can throw 1 or 2 of these into a pack. I rotate these per day. So I'll do peanut butters and chocolates, or sometimes I'll do 1 of each into the pack. And that's the one thing that sometimes I carry too much of, because I usually have 2 per day, and I don't always eat both of those, because this is a decent amount of snacks to have running throughout the day, giving you energy. Now, like I said, the last thing that I'll throw into the pack is going to be this Top Ramen. Again, this is something I don't eat every single day, but it's super lightweight, and so I usually take either a chicken or a beef. And the Top Ramen is really nice if it's cold out. You take your jet boil and just warm it up. It's good to have back at camp. It's really filling for what it is, and it's extremely cheap. So I'm a big fan of having Top Ramen on hunts. And then you go into what I have at night. So I keep a thing of Pringles. This is if I'm car camping. I don't carry this in if I'm backpack camping. But I have a thing of Pringles. Salt and vinegar just adds a totally different flavor to kind of mix things up. I always have at least a can or 2 of beef stew. And with that, I usually have some normal bread that I will dip that in at night. And then I always carry and have these down at the rig at the very least, if not coming up hunting with me, a Mountain House meal for dinner for each night that I'm going to be out, and a breakfast. That way, even though I have real food with me and I'm car camping, I decide not to make it, I can just throw one of these together. If I get back late, killed something, I get back late at night, I don't have to worry about messing around with trying to prepare some other dinner. I can just throw one of these together, eat, go to sleep, get ready to wake up and do whatever I need to do the next day. And the last thing that I think is really important to have is some sort of a reward food. So I do this Mountain House blackberry crumble that is my every year when I kill something, that's what I eat in camp. It tastes like blackberry pie. I like it, but I think it's important to have something like that you keep back at the rig or whatever, so that you kind of have something to look forward to after you've packed a heavy animal out and gone through all that work. So I hope that this video kind of shows how I pack all my stuff. I'm getting ready to leave for a hunt, and I wanted to show you this before. Obviously, I've still got a few days before I leave, and so I'm not going to take the chips out and throw them in the bag. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's up to you on how much of each of this you want, and you can use, obviously, whatever you like. There's certain foods that in Jason Hairston's video that he liked that I'm not a big fan of, and I'm sure there's some things up here that he probably wouldn't have wanted to take with him. But it's important that you have some sort of a setup like this, because what you don't want to do is get up there onto the mountain and either run out of food or just not have enough. That really can drain your energy. That affects how much you're going to want to get out and hike, and that affects the chances that you're going to have on getting that big animal or just exploring and seeing things that are off the beaten path. It's never good to just be hungry and not have energy, and especially when you're up in the mountains, and usually that's a pretty energy demanding task. So if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. I have a lot more content that's going to be coming soon. Thank you for watching.